Everyone, welcome to Miami Beach Urban Studios Art Talk today with independent curator Chin Hsieh. I'm Colette Mello. I'd like to give a heartfelt thank you to our sponsor, the City of Miami Beach Department of Tourism and Office of Cultural Affairs, for making the MBUS Live Art Talks possible. Chin is a Taiwanese independent curator based in Miami. Her research interests include curatorial methods under the discussion of exhibition forms, collectiveness in curatorial practice, and contemporary visual culture informed by our current times. Chin has curated Collective Traces exhibitions in 2020 and Portals in 2019 here at Miami Beach Urban Studios. She was also part of the team for the Sunset Archives installation, which is part of the Miami Beach Open House Residency Program in 2021. Her work has been exhibited at the Frost Art Museum, and she has curated exhibitions and has a pop-up store at the Laundromat Art Space. She currently has several projects in the works, which I look forward to hearing about today. She holds a BFA in visual design from the National Taiwan Normal University and an MFA in visual arts from Florida International University. Before I hand it over to Chin, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that if you have any comments or questions, to please make them through our chat function. We'll be having open questions throughout the presentation. So I just want to say hi, Chin, and thank you for joining us today. It's so great to see you.
Hi, Colette. Thank you for such a great introduction. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's my pleasure to be here in the MBUS Art Talks. So shall I start sharing my screens with?
Okay. Yep. First of all, yeah, while you're doing that, tell us where you are, and if you could tell us about your background. I love that.
Okay, I have a hello page, so let me start with that.
Take your time.
Share. Perfect. So hello everybody. My name is Chin, and I'm originally from Taiwan. I moved here to Miami in 2017 for my master's degree here at Florida International University. I'm here today just at my home. And just got off work from Vizcaya Museum and Gardens. I can share more about my multiple disciplines later with everybody. Yes, okay, let me see. So yeah, like I said, I love this meme. I think it represents a lot of us with how artists and actually independent curators trying to be everything on their own. So pretty much on most of my exhibitions, I'm a one-person army. And I am, aside from being an independent curator, I am also an office administrator. I am a digital content specialist for different museums. I used to be a digitization coordinator. So a little bit of everything. If we have time later, I would love to share different projects I am doing aside from my curatorial practice work as well. So let's go on to the next one. So I would like to start with my most recent project. It's called the Gift Shop. The Gift Shop is also my thesis project for my master's in fine art. And we just had an exhibition, It Feels Too Familiar, in late March to May at the Patricia and Philip Frost Museum on MMC campus. So this project is about exhibition forms and experience or exploring how curatorial method can be something beyond just exhibition making. So as Colette mentioned, I am from a visual design background that most of the curators that I know of may from a art historical background. So I love all kinds of different periods of art, different artists from different times. Not really loyal to any specific periods. So for me, my research focus has always been on exhibition forms and curatorial practice itself. And I think the Gift Shop project really demonstrate and present the best of my research focus here. So it can exist in different forms. And then this one photo you see that I have a pop-up shop at the Laundromat Art Space here in Miami, Little Haiti. The project here shows as a shop form. So as we go more and see, we can see more details. They look like a shop. It plays in between how a shop and exhibition can be. So my initial idea was that when I was thinking about museum experience, so what do we think about? You know, like sometimes we travel somewhere to like the Louvre or the Metropolitan Art Museum. A lot of time, most of the people, if you're not a crazy fan about art or history, you will probably want to go to the gift shop first. And especially even MoMA has their 3-floor gift shop, not in the museum, but outside of the museum, that I found really interesting. And by going to the gift shop, you actually can see like the essence and the extract of what the museum represents. They have to put their most famous work, their most representative collections onto a postcard or print it on an eraser, and we will happily buy an eraser for $5. So this kind of notion really got me interested, and I've been thinking about, okay, there are some readings talking about how actually gift shop can be an extension of a museum exhibition. So it's like a grand finale of people's museum experience. Now you think about it, access through the gift shop, and that leaves you a great memory. And also in a lot of institutions, some products in the gift shop will have to actually work closely, not only with the marketing department, but also curatorial department to make sure everything's accurate. So it actually ties closely than we thought with curatorial practice. So what I've been thinking is that what does it really mean to like be presented in a gift shop? Does gift shop sells artworks? Does gift shop sells products? So what I'm trying to do here is to really talk to the artists and collaborate with the artists. We want to come up with an art object, neither a product nor an artwork, but simply an art object that represents what the artist's practice is about. So as I go on, you will see. Hope if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments if I don't explain it clearly. This photo you can see is my presentation at the Froster Museum earlier this year. It's more of a conceptual take instead of the shop like that format you saw previously.
How many artists were in this? How many artists were in this pop-up?
Well, initially I had only 9, and now I'm expanded to 17.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it's continue expanding. I'm planning to write a grant so I can work with more people.
Oh, great.
So, yes. So for this presentation, I just select some of the components or the materials, also demonstrate the process of how I work with artists here. So it's more of a conceptual presentation instead of a shop-like take. But most of the time when I show the gift shop, it exists as a shop format and you'll be able to purchase. So I'm gonna take 3 examples and to go into the details of different ways of collaboration that I have with the gift shop. The first collaboration I have is with Pakistani American artist Kinsa Najam. She's based in New York City. I first met Kinsa earlier, also later in 2020, and her practice is about, talking about these abused women's and also feminist practice about her, especially with her background as a Southeastern Asian woman. So one of her works is called No Honor in Killing. Let me see if I can see a photo right here. It's called No Honor in Killing, her performance in 2017 at the Museum of Moving Image. Sorry for the typo. What she did is that she collected a lot of these bully cat casings from New York and Pakistani shooting range. So these casings represent where she's thinking about how gun violence is, like gun can be something as double-edged. It could hurt somebody, easily take other people's life, while at the same time, it might be something that to protect you from danger. So at this point, of course, in her original body of work is to share, the victims suffer from gun violence, not only here in North America, but also a lot of women suffer from honor killing by their own family in Southeastern Asian culture realm. So let me see if I can go back to the previous one. right here.
Very powerful
Yeah.
work. I haven't
Yes.
heard of her work before. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. I have an extended reading about her, so I can share with everybody. So we decided to recycle her material. After getting to know her work more, I really want to do something about this double edging thing, especially now we all heard news about gun violence here, and that was totally a culture shock for me as somebody I'm from a small country that gun is not even every police officer has guns. And from here till people selling Christmas sales on Walmart about you can just easily buy the handgun like so easily like that. It's a really culture shock for me. So with Chin Hsieh, I have a lot of different similarity of culture reference and experience with her. So we all think that this is a really interesting and also crazy thing at the same time that would experience as a foreign or new immigrants to here at the United States. So
You know, you
like I
make a
mentioned,
really
sorry,
good
go ahead.
point. I'm sorry, you make a really good point about the culture shock, and she's coming where there's honor killings are like
Yes.
it's a part of the culture. We're here,
Yeah.
you can just buy a gun at Walmart. It's part of the culture. It's like
Yeah.
two clashes, and they're both not good. But we're
Yeah.
both judging each other, right? It's like we're judging.
Exactly. I remember like the first couple months I was here, and I received a Walmart Christmas flyer and it said a handgun like $4.99 only today from until December 30th. I thought it was a joke. Like, wow. I
Yeah.
would love to go check it out. I never seen what a real bullet looks like. Right.
And then I always see what is it? The signs for gun shows all over.
Mm.
That used to drive me nuts. You're just driving and there's like all these signs. Oh, there's a gun show, and you can just walk in off the street and buy a gun.
Yeah, it's like super easy. I mean, I get it sometimes in different environment or different habitat like you lived in, super countryside, or you need to hunt for living. I understand that you need to own a gun, but just like so easy and so advertised, it's something that really shocked me the most instead of the fact that people can own guns. Yeah. So anyway, like I said previously, I have a lot of different ways of collaboration with artists I work with for the gift shop. Normally I have to do 2 to 3 studio visits that I really get to know their practice. So in order for us to come up with a collaboration for this project, most of the time we will work something together. Either the artist will provide me some of their material from their previous practice. For example, like Chin Hsieh, this one called the Golden Bullets. We recycle her 2017 performance, these bullet casing that she still have. So, okay, how can we turn it around? Still deliver similar message, but add an extra layer to it. So I really love this one because it has a lot of different layers, not just about gun violence, not just about culture shock, but also about culture differences. So, from a Pakistani background like her or me as a Taiwanese, we decide to, okay, if this is a collaboration, we should do a mixtape, like we should mix things up together. So for each bullet casing, we roll up this paper about word of wisdoms. Why word of wisdoms or idiom? Because it's something that we learn from either our old culture, elderly people, or different stories. Is give us a warning. Okay, follow this word, follow this line, and you'll be okay. Or it give you courage when you're weak. It tell you not to do things that are stupid. For example, this one takes to the choral, and she wrote Urdu, which is locally language spoken in Pakistan, and I have like another Mandarin idiom, 车到山前必有路，船到桥头自然直. If you translate directly, means that if you drove a car to a mountain, there must be a way, and if you sail a boat to the harbor, the boat is gonna sail in. It means that you follow the flow and you shouldn't fight against your destiny. So we carefully select these different idioms that we feel really impactful in our own life experience. Each box has 7 bullets with 2 Urdu, 2 idiom in Urdu, 2 in Mandarin, and 3 in English. So it symbolizes a culture that we all share, we combined. And also saying that bullet as something can harm you, but can also protect you. So see it as a warning. Yes,
Nice.
this one. I actually wrote a more detailed ways of collaboration in our notes, and recently just published on Art Now Contemporary Art Pakistan. So if you would like to read more about our work, you can go on to this link below or just type in Art Now Contemporary Art of Pakistan.
Oh, nice.
So another collaboration that I love is with FIU Professor Pip Wren. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. So if you have seen Pip's previous work, I was looking really hard online to try to find one. I did find one, but we all knew that she makes a lot of amazing embroidery and really sarcastic and humor whimsical take on a lot of serious or sometimes not so serious topic. So the series that she had was sewn curses, and I think it's like a perfect comments for last year, our all shared experience and we're traumatized from what we've been through. So I don't know if I can curse or simply see as the art reading what she sewn, but
Well, we don't censor, so you can.
okay, perfect. So,
But
so
I
like,
love these works. Well, you know, I'm a big fan of Pip, so
me too.
I love. We had some of her tablecloth tabled reports
Oh,
here,
wow, I
and
love to see it.
curated a couple exhibitions here. So, yeah, big fan of her work.
Yes, I really like that how she used these recycle and really grandma, really country fabrics that you think of something so soft, so home, so sweet. Well, if you carefully read in cursive, like really elegant ways of really mean comments of what's going on. If you want to, this is a patch, so you'll be able to kind of, I think it's at heat sensitive, or you can sew onto your t-shirt or your bags to, it's great to take it to work or to school, or show it to people you don't want.
Yeah, I safety pin mine to my bag. So
Yeah, I love this one. So this is Pip's regular practice. So the reason why I'm comparing different the original practice and the collaboration with gift shop is because I want to show like how these art objects are an extension of the practice. They are not an artwork, they are not a product, but they are an extension of what the artist's practice are. So it could be something very conceptual, like the bullet with Chin Hsieh, or it could be something really functional, like the Pip's patch that you can do literally sewn on anywhere. So, and another example I have is with also of FIU MFA alumnum, Devorah Perez. So if you're not familiar with Devorah's work has so many layers, and I can never stop talking about it. I'm also a big fan of her work. So her works focusing on paintings versus sculptures, exploring the fluidity in between. Also, she used a lot of domestic and constructive materials. Like normally people don't link it to women. So there's a layer of gender when it comes to minimalist female artists. So when you see minimalist and how we are learning art history, you normally don't think like it's made of women. So her work is very gender neutral. And I really like the aspect of her her choice of material. So we decide, she's a very precise person. Everything is cut to, I don't like using inches, but centimeters and millimeters. During the time and after all the things she made, she have a lot of, I don't want to say leftovers, but the rest of the materials are collected. And they're in really interesting shape and colors, or small pieces of wood that you see pencil marks or stickers from the manufacturer or the artist herself. So what we did together is to create these earrings. I don't know if you can see my screen, but I'm wearing one.
We see them.
Yeah,
And
I'm
full
wearing one.
disclosure, you have some on, right? You have them on.
Yes, I have them on. It's a very small take. I found it interesting because this is a really, when you think of woodwork or think of maybe concrete, it's a very manly thing in our normal concept or thoughts. But earrings is also something very feminine. So I like the combination and the collaboration with a deeper meaning that really resonate with her art practice. So,
And she's a
These
very
are
versatile artist. I've seen her work evolve. And didn't you curated an exhibition here at MBUS, right? Didn't you?
I haven't worked with Devorah yet, which I would
Oh, okay. I
love
first.
to soon.
Yeah, me
Yes.
too. I haven't worked with her either, but I love her
Yes.
artwork.
I'm finding that the best proposal to squeeze her in.
Yeah, she's evolved. Her work has really evolved through the years.
Yes. So for all these examples, you can see like these different objects here that I've shown, each represent an artistic practice that I really spent a lot of time doing studio visit with, getting to know deeper on what their practice is about. And we come up with an idea that we feel comfortable in doing. The first thing question I normally like to ask is about the artist's own gift shop experience. You know, what do they do when they go to a museum? What do they think about these things that in the gift shop? And barely everybody likes it. Everybody likes it, and there are a lot of interesting objects. I often go to museums gift shop like the PAM or MoCA or Wolfsonian just to check out what's up. Get some
No,
great
I'm
new
with you.
ideas.
It's one of my favorite part. I mean, I love going to the museum, but I'm always excited to go through
Oh,
the gift
totally.
shop and
Me
like
too.
and the movie Exit Through the Gift Shop. That's great movie
Oh yes,
for
it's
everyone to see.
really sarcastic movie.
Mhm.
I still don't know. It's a fake documentary, but I feel it's so real.
Yes, I think it's really good for people to see that intro into the art world, but also even recently, now that we're getting back into the real world again, and I saw you at the laundromat, and I was so excited that you had the pop up.
Yes.
Recently, I went to the Pam, and again, it was like I was just excited to go through Pam's gift shop just to
Yeah,
see,
me
you know.
too. Like they're finally open and you can go really to feel things. I think a lot of experience that we have in life can be replaced by using virtual, but that's what I thought before. But after really having everything going online, it's a completely different story. And I feel there's we need a little more time to adapt that life, but it's coming. Yeah, in my opinion,
Right,
it's
I
coming.
agree. I mean, I think we were good at adapting, but I do miss the face to face a
Oh,
lot.
totally. Yeah.
That experience of talking to people in person and seeing artwork in person is
Yes.
different than seeing and getting really close and being able to meditate on it for a little while. It's wonderful,
Exactly. You can really replace that feelings.
right?
So if anybody is interested in seeing the gift shop in person, you can feel free to direct message or send me an email. I have a pop-up shop now at Laundromat Art Space. It's on by appointment only, so let me know and we can meet up and maybe talk more about other objects. Okay. So another project I would love to share with everybody is a project called the Sunset Archive that was launched earlier this year, 2021, in late January. This project means so much to me. I've been planning with Colette even before the pandemic was open. I've been asking her, where we can do this. This is an outdoor projection project. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of restriction and carefully location selection. So I was really lucky and really happy having the support of City of Miami Beach with the open house grant and also MBUS Collect support to finally launch this one. And it happened. I'm super happy about it. So I had more further readings and also an interview that I conduct with the artist. If you're interested in, also can go on to the link below. I'll find a way later to share with Colette so we can, if anybody's interested in, can have further
Yeah, we can
readings.
do a copy and paste into the chat later before you log off, so people.
Yes,
Okay.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's go into it. So the Sunset Archive only focused on one artist. His name is Juan Recana, and Juan has been everywhere in the world. He actually spent a lot of time and a really long time in Mumbai, India. So this work and video work is also about his life experience over there. The video itself is called The Galaxy View. It's about 14 minutes long with a camera tied to a rolling robot. Like those toy cars with 4 wheels, and you can attach a camera, GoPro onto it. So what he did was to remote control this camera to roll through the beach over there. Yes, it's a beach. So can you imagine that's the beach comparing to how Miami Beach is? So Mumbai is one of the biggest city in India and was 1.2 million, 1.2 billion people living there. Imagine how that is like. I would love to visit India one day if I can. I think it's a full of rich culture, history, and amazing art and people and food. So and
I just
yeah,
wanted to point out one of the things that Juan told me, and I know you know this already, but in the background, those beautiful high rises is where the very, very wealthy and affluent
yes,
movie stars, part of Bollywood, live. So they live very close to.
exactly. So this area is actually like the like the what is it called? The Beverly Hills at Hollywood, Los Angeles. And Galaxy View, the title of the video, is actually named after a building that has a lot of movie stars in Bollywood lived. It's called the Galaxy View, and this is considered one of the high-end neighborhoods in Mumbai. And this is a beach that literally just near it. I do have some clips that I would to play. So here is a clip. Yes. So as you can tell, the video is actually very chaotic, and however, it's also very peaceful at the same time. I wish I have a longer clip, but the video, aside from rolling just a robot camera around, it actually depicts a really beautiful sunset at the beach. So the initial thoughts are from me that why I'm interested in putting this at Miami Beach is because Miami Beach is facing the east, which we get amazing sunrise, but we don't get to see the sunset. While this beach, forgive me for forgetting the name of it, is facing the Arabian Ocean, which facing the west, so you see the sunset. So through a I think through like this portal of a video, you get to see like what's going on the other side of the world. You know, we have the sunrise literally on our right side, and this is the sunset on the other side of the world. It's also having a lot of strong contrast in between. It's a really tranquil, very peaceful sunset, while there are a lot of chaotic things happening at the same time. There are at least more than 4 kinds of different wild animals appear in the 14-minute long video. You have wild pigs, you have cats, you have chickens, you have dogs, and everybody's just trying to live and walking on the pile of trash. You don't even see a sand or rocks or the floor. So with the open house grant, we were able to collaborate with a local property manager. We were projecting onto an old restaurant, which was vacant for a while. I'm not sure if it's filled now with another tenant, but we were offered a big space, and we were able to project onto the walls next to a pizza restaurant. So I love it because this is literally on Washington Avenue, and it's 2 blocks away from the Miami Beach, where the white sands, rich with tourists, and beautiful beach are. So people who walk by, pedestrians, that's what we're targeting at, is to gaze through this portal and see what's going on the West Hemisphere, or sorry, the another side of the world. I'm not sure if it's the West. Yeah. So what really interests me is that the chaotic and the tranquil contrast in between, not just environmental issues, but also like finding peace in chaos. I think it's a really Zenish thought and can be taken deeper in different layers of this specific installation.
I definitely thought it had a lot of layers, particularly since you were able to do it on Miami Beach, which was your original intent.
Yes.
You know, Miami Beach is ground zero for climate change or sea level rise. So there's all these little parallels, you know, so that's what I saw in the project. I mean, I thought you and Juan did a fantastic job, and we were very lucky to have the property managers be so generous with their space. And
totally.
Yeah. I thought it was very
Totally. I'm really,
successful. Yeah.
really happy about this project. And
Yeah.
also now thinking about contrast, Miami Beach also has its own chaotic side too, but we don't really get to see it, like the sea level rise and the fact that there are a lot of environmental threats coming literally 10 miles away from us, but we don't get to really learn about that much. We were bubbly up with these really nice touristy image, and that's how it should be, but will it continue to be will be the question.
Right. And so what a lot of people don't realize, especially tourists that come here, is that we have these huge pumps all over Miami Beach that are pumping out water for like sunny day, what is it? Sunny day flooding or whatever they call it when it
Oh,
just floods
wow.
when it's not raining. So people aren't even aware of all the infrastructure that and the millions and millions of dollars, which I'm sure Mumbai is
Wow.
having the same problem.
Yeah, it's like overpopulation. Like it's a really condensed place. I would say like most of the Asian country in the big cities are super condensed. Like you don't really get to share a big space or go to the beach without stepping over somebody else.
Right. And
So this is sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to, I mean, I just wanted to share that this program, this happened. Oh, I love the one of the cat. That's one of my favorite images.
Yes.
So this happened in the evening. So you all had it set up. So I think the video started looping around 5 or 6. So it was like sunset was happening here in Miami and then
Yes.
the video would start looping. So people walking
Exactly.
by would see it when we were
Yeah.
going through it. Yeah.
It's like a connection of sunset. When we're facing the east, you can gaze in the west. This is another short clips about how it is like on site. So I'm just gonna roughly play it. Oh, is it frozen?
I don't know.
Okay, it's okay. We'll switch to another one. So, yeah, I would like to share another project that I had actually before the Sunset Archive. It's called Collective Journal series of exhibition that I did in Miami Beach Urban Studios in early 2020, right before COVID starts. And I'm really glad it didn't.
Oh my gosh, you really were right before. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like 2 years ago. It felt like a long time ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like 5 years ago or something. Yeah, so this series of exhibition, it's a series of exhibition. So this is the first edition, volume 1. I call it Traces. So I want to find artists that work closely with the concept of archiving. So it's not necessary about like their process has to be archiving, but just keeping the collections and collecting things into their either practice or into their outcome is something that I'm really interested in. So I'm sure a lot of people, as an artist or a curator, most of us are hoarders, that we will always think something is going to be useful someday, or artists that will continue collecting materials for one artwork later on, just in case. You never know. So you will have a lot of things with you. So that kind of notions interest me, and I also have a lot of one of the artists in this exhibition collect things over time. So let's go into it. I have some examples. So this is the layout of the exhibition at the curatorial gallery here at MBUS. So yeah, like Alex Del Canto, also another MFA alumni from my class, her collections is different from collecting things. So over the years, since 2014, and another series of her called David and Noah is starting even earlier. So over maybe 6 to 8 years, she's been collecting and documenting her neighbors and her grandmother. So I feel like it's an interesting, really consistent, almost like a documentary and diaristic like ways of collecting moments. Yeah.
I remember.
And also this one.
Yep. Oh, I remember
Yes.
this one too. This was a great exhibition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And volume 2 is coming up, so I'm gonna
good.
tell people more about this. So about this one with artist Carrington Ware, she has a video audio collage about moments in life. So every 2 hours or every 3 hours, there's a specific period of time she will record for a minute or 30 seconds about what's happening to her. So like a lot of influencer documenting a day or doing these vlog on traveling. This is like part of her lives vlog about different small moments in life, and that's what makes us us. So I found it really interesting. It's a very intimate piece, but it talks to so many people because we all have similar life experience. Going to work, buying lunch, bringing lunch, cleaning the house, walk the dog, go on and on.
I remember that one. I used to always go in there because I didn't know how long. I don't remember how long the loop was, but I would run in and just listen for like a minute, and it would always be a different.
It
And I
always
would
be
always
different,
try to
something
figure
different.
out what was going on. But I love that work by Carrington.
Yeah, me too. And it's like capture some fractions about your life. So you're wondering what's going on, but there's something happen again. So you have to catch on with it. Yeah, and that's just our life.
Right.
Yeah, and another work by Carla Kontrovich, Let It Unfold. Carla have shown in MBUS several times, I believe, and I really like her work about collecting her used work. She recycled her own works too, and with a lot of natural material and sew them together. It's like her diary, but visual presentation. So, and then so I have an installation in the show by Anna Garasko, Life, Death, and Rest. This piece was dedicated to her grandmother, I believe, who passed away. Me and Anna are really close friends. She moved back to Miami from Chicago for her master degree, and she's been in Chicago for a long time. And now, after a decade of working there, she moved back to her childhood home and start to really learn how to live with her parents, really learn how to deal with her own childhood again, like living in the same house. She discovered a lot of new family history or interesting things that she didn't know about the family. So her works and her body of work and practice really started from here to really find these fractions and pieces of family history and to collect them together. So all these things are found in her childhood house. I found it really interesting about how she kind of put up a puzzle together.
I have to say something to you. I miss the Fellows Gallery. I don't know if all of you on our call today realized that was part of MBUS Fellows Galleries. It became also the Affiliates Gallery.
Yes.
So the Curatorial Practice Gallery, that it was for experimenting with different artists, and curators could come in and just experiment. I really miss, we don't have it any longer, and I miss it, but I'm glad you're showing the pictures.
Well, hopefully soon enough we will have a new space for more experimentation.
Thank you. I hope so. From your mouth to God's ears. Yes.
Yes. So last but not least, I wanted to show two upcoming shows I have going to be in June, and yeah, they are the reason why my life is crazy right now, but I'm enjoying it. So the first show is actually the extension, the volume 2 for collective journals. So I'm really happy this is happening. I've been planning for volume 2 also for a little bit over a year now. It's been on my proposal, and I have this opportunity that will be shown in the annex in Spanello projects later this month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the volume a little bit, thank you, a bit different from the volume 1 with traces. Volume 2 focused something more about visible meditation. It's something not really a traceable or visible or physically collections, I would say. It's about time, or it's about collective memories or collective culture and environmental concerns. So let me briefly read this. The Collective Journal Project is a series of exhibitions curated by me. The exhibition project gathers artworks within concepts of archiving, collection, and diaristic expression in different aspects of artist practice. So Collective Journal Volume 2, Visible Meditation, presents a non-material collection. It includes 4 Miami-based artists whose artworks are inspired by abstract concepts like time, collective memories, and environmental concerns. So
I see Chris Friday. Who else is?
Yes. So we have 4 Miami-based artists, OC, Juan Herquena, and Anna again. We also have a Miami-based artist, Ronald Sanchez. So what I want to do here is to present something not, like I said, not physical. Like some of them, of course, are physical, but in another way, a layer of expression or yeah, and another way of expression or framing this, it has a different sense of collection. So please stay tuned. And once I have the flyer, I would post it on my social media. It should be open on June 20th, the week of June 25th.
And this is at the annex?
Yes, this will be at the annex. Okay, and another project I will have almost exact at the same time will be at Laundromat Art Space. I am still planning on adding different artists, so forgive me not putting all the listed name here. It's called Imaginary Reality Artificial Landscaping. So I've been really interesting in learning about like the power struggle in urban landscape. I grew up in a city. I'm familiar with concrete buildings more than a forest or a lake. So the exhibitions really want to kind of play and experience in between, like what's urban landscapes all about. Like we trim our grass, we cut our trees, we want everything to grow in our way, right? So there's a lot of power struggles, like feeling that we have control over everything. That's something that really inspires me. This is not really an environmental concern exhibition. I don't play any sides here. I don't want to tell people to do anything, but simply inviting artists that are also having similar concerns or thoughts to show these issues or show these things, to have an open conversation platform. So it explores the struggles and tension between nature and human footprints. Aside from raising awareness, of course, the project would like to start exciting and conversation about urban relationship and what we recognize as natural surroundings. Yes. So these are my 2 upcoming projects, and please stay tuned.
You're very busy.
I am. Yes, I am. So let me stop sharing.
So why don't you tell us what you're doing at, and I want to open it up for questions or comments. If anyone has any comments, please put them in the chat, and then we will ask the question. Tell us what you're doing at Vizcaya. So you're working at Vizcaya.
Okay. Yes. So before Vizcaya, I was working at Frastar Museum as a digitization coordinator, and mainly focusing on the digital collections and digitizing the artworks in Fraud's collection, works on paper, painting, sculpture, etc. So after going to Vizcaya, I'm doing very similar, but in a little different shift. I'm still in the digital realm. What I'm doing there is to help them create digital content for 2 projects. One project has already launched. It's called Yours Truly. I don't know how familiar people are with Vizcaya. So Vizcaya, it was a estate built in early 1900s by a Chicago-based businessman, James Deering. He was a very interesting, picky person. And me and my colleagues are always thinking he must be a Virgo, because he's super picky about all the details in building the house. And how do we find out? We read the letters and telegrams that he was writing to his artistic director. And it was a really, really interesting journey because as everybody knows, Vizcaya is a historical museum, and it focuses on the estate and the building itself. So they don't really have like an exhibition hallway or a place or opportunity to really show visitors like what they have in archive materials. Maybe part in their website. But we started to have a digitization project last year. So everything is digitized. We mainly did focusing on the letters in the 1916s. Vizcaya has over 24,000 letters and telegrams just for the business in between and the building the estates. Yes, so from there, the Yours Truly project that I work as a specialist on is to carefully select these content and weave them into a story that's attractive. Because there are a lot of budget lists or, okay, it's too expensive, like people's salary that might not interest as many audience. So what we did is that we have different story content, like the time during the Prohibition, how did he sneakily ship his booze in, right? And also we have for the birds, like he used to have birds as pets flying around the estate, and how did that work? Or building the barge outside, what kind of design he wanted to talk to the artistic director, so on and so on. So aside from visiting and seeing as a historical landmark, you probably will have we want to build a better connection personally from you and James Deering, the Vistaya's owner in early 1900s. Yeah, and another project I've been doing also digitally connected with, it's called Beyond Vizcaya. And what we're doing, it's a community storing project, storytelling project. So we want to explore different stories and historical backgrounds beyond the estates, what's happening around there. There are a lot of Bohemian migrant workers during the time actually helped build the Vizcaya, and we actually found a connection and how to trace them back and how to share their stories and how do we know more what's going on at the time and also what's going on right now. So the project roughly separates into 3 categories with migration, labor, and culture and identity. So that's what we want to do, is to really extend what a museum can be. Yeah. So that's what I do aside from being an independent curator.
So you're very busy. Can you talk a little bit about how the pandemic affected your practice?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it affected everybody. So me personally, I also just graduated last year, like during the pandemic, on like the peak of it.
Right.
So yeah, that was definitely devastating, I would say. And I'm still healing from that trauma. Is to really feel like, okay, wow, the world is gonna end. What do we do? But it also gives me a lot of hope right now. Now I look back, it provides us a great opportunity to really start to review and rethink how being a curator or how exhibition, even how institution can be extended to, right? We are focusing so much on physical connections or experience that we want to create, but a lot of us ignore like how to extend beyond that and how we can do it. So I'm also glad that this pandemic kind of pushed different institutions into digital initiatives and digital realm, to use the technology that has been is existing and super well developed to a broader opportunity. Yeah.
That's a really good point, because a lot of us it was there. We all needed to learn it and do it, and we weren't. And it really pushed us all to really extend into something. And I think we're all going to keep it. It's something that we need. It just needs to be part of our practice now,
Totally. And it kind of opens up a new art world. Nobody talks about cryptos and NFT so much. Nobody talks about how digitization and online collection are so important. So I'm sure this is going to affect and completely change the way we experience with art and with, of course, like our lives.
Right. So let me ask you about, when did you realize that you wanted to work in the arts, or was there a moment or a museum that sparked or is there something that you realize, I want to go in the curatorial practice?
Well, I think it's like a step-by-step thing. 7 years ago, I didn't know what curator is, but when I was in undergraduate school, I was a visual design major, but I've always been interested in more in fine art realm. I knew I didn't want to go into like a BFA. Well, I technically got a BFA in visual design, but I didn't want to major in fine art. So, but I was interning in a lot of different places in Taiwan. There is a international artist residency that really opens my mind. It's called Bamboo Curtain Studio. They've been in Taiwan for over 25 years, but sadly they will be closing this year. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic, but what they do is that every year they have 3 to 6 international artists. They will have certain compensation and invited them to Taiwan and to do a locally workshop, creations, practice, or lectures for 3 months period. So as an intern, I was there helping people, helping the artists translate for a translation for their lives, or if they need any materials. So I really get to know more about the art world and get to find out that I actually like working and collaborating with art people.
Nice. So I wanted to talk about that side of your practice because it seems it's very collaborative as
Yes.
a curator. Do you ever feel, I know I always work very collaborative as well, but there are moments when I have a certain direction that I really want to go. How do you navigate that? Or are you just,
Mm. Well, I think being super transparency is, of course, that has to be dropped in the first studio visits. So far, I haven't really had the opportunity yet to work with a large group of artists. Most of my exhibition are very intimate, no more than 6 people. So communication-wise, it's easier as a small group. So yeah, I think the more different exhibitions I do, there are going to be different challenging because, schedule, let's say schedule wise, or people, different artists have a specific way they want their artwork to be. Yeah, and I think it's just really to find the balance in between. I am really lucky that I don't have too many unpleasant experience with the gift shop. Most of the time, I'd be really transparent, and on the first studio visit, it's like I want to know what they think about the project. And if people don't feel comfortable or really not thinking the way I'm thinking, then I probably won't work with them at this point. Maybe later, there's a lot of different future opportunity. So yeah, what I want to also challenge myself a little bit later on is to learn how to work with a bigger group of people, because I'm sure that at the time, challenge will arise.
yes, yeah. Do you, I know we had discussed this earlier, but I wanted to share, do you make art objects at all or?
Well, I make things here and there, but I don't. When I'm making things, I don't think about I'm making art. Like I have my own collage theories, or I draw a lot of times in class, most of the time. And but I do it for like just because I want to do it. There's no intentions or anything. So I don't know if that's considered making art. But for the gift shop project, there are different ways of collaboration. So a lot of time is that the artist will provide me their idea or just simply materials, and I will finish making them into the art object that I'm thinking in my head.
What do you think about, we went through this huge chaotic time and the curator, we have this moment where we can really take it to a direction of steering discourse or research into marginalized artists or artworks. What do you think of that power?
You mean like our power kind of sometimes overrides the artworks?
It could. Yeah, I mean, I think there's this moment that where, I mean, we think of all of the chaos of the pandemic and Black Lives Matter, and there's this moment now that as curators, we can really turn an eye or open a window to the world of some of these things that people should see. What do you think about?
Yeah. So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about, because that's also something I would like to start with my later project. Is like, if you think about this, exhibition or curatorial practice itself is a way of storytelling, right? So it depends what story you want to tell, who do you want to tell the story to. And when there are a lot of things happening around us, it means that we have so many content and we have so many stories to tell. Yeah, so not necessarily there are so many things. I don't consider myself as a very political person, because I feel like, especially here, I've learned so much here after I moved to United States. Race, guns, like these things never really occurred to me as much when I was in Taiwan. It's a completely different culture system. So I've been learning a lot of that. And unless I'm really familiar or really know what's going on, I wouldn't want to tell the story from my perspective. Yeah,
That's fair.
that's my take.
That's a fair, yes.
Yeah, I have so much to learn and constantly learning, which is great.
Yeah, I agree. So I just want to, I mean, we're almost out of time. I want to
Yes.
say Thank you so much. I love what you're doing. But I just want to open it up for one last question. If you have, we have a lot of students on here today. If you have like one word of advice that you would give student artists or people who are thinking of artists or curators or art administrators or any
Cool.
advice, yeah.
Well, a lot of advice I gave to myself and also curator is to really be patient and absorb as much as you can. But like now I get to learn that the best advice I can probably give is to be genuine to your work. Yes, because the more work you see, I see people trying. Sometimes you get override, like you're trying so hard about something or a goal or a grant, and you actually make work just to fit their taste, or you create an exhibition just to fit their taste. And I feel like that's a great practice, but if you're constantly doing that, then it's easily that you don't have your own practice anymore. You're just chasing things. So I would say like be genuine to your own artwork and believe that what you're doing is worth people seeing.
I think that's really good advice. And I think you are very genuine to your work. Yeah, I think that's really to just stay true to what's important to you. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, well, I want to say thank you very much for this
Thank you,
wonderful
Colette. Thank you,
talk.
everybody.
I appreciate everyone coming in today. We had some wonderful comments from people. Excellent talk. Thank you. Bravo. So people said you can curse. We're all adults. So I just wanted, I'm going to unmute this for a second. Everybody can give you, if you'd like to unmute, everybody can say hi. And I just want to let everybody know next week we have Devora Perez coming on our talk. So I'm excited to have her, which Ichin had presented some of her work to you all. So, so again, everybody, thank you again for joining us, and virtual applause to Ichin, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.